Hello friends, welcome back once again to my channel, and this is another episode on Git, and we'll be discussing something called Git Hooks. Now, what are these Git Hooks? Git Hooks are kind of scripts that run automatically every time a particular event occurs on your repository. So what does it mean? A simple way is like, let's say you want to perform certain validation before you push your code changes to Git repository. Let's say you have written certain test suite and you want to run this test suite automatically. And if the test perform is gives the correct result, means there is no failure in the testing, then you can push things to Git. Otherwise, you can refrain from committing the changes. Now, I'll be using this kind of one of the hook called pre-commit. There are other hooks also available. If you scroll down a little below, you will find this kind of available other hooks. Those are also available. Now, where these are available means whenever you are enabling some project for Git, right, then it create certain hidden folders and files, as you know already. So .git is the folder which is a hidden folder rather, and under which you'll find one more folder that is called .hooks, and inside that this kind of a sample scripts you'll be able to find there. Now, one of the sample in our demo I'll be using is a pre-commit sample. And what is our use case? Like, I intentionally will make certain mistakes in my code, and I'll be using the JavaScript linter. And predominantly I'll be using the ESLint, because ESLint is mostly the popular one for the ECMAScript kind of a coding practice. ESLint is actually the recommended one, right? Recommended linter. So that will be using. So using that ESLint, I'll ensure that before I make a code push to my Git, I'll perform this linting check whether the codes are all correct or not, and I'll stop committing the things to my Git. So that way, what happens, like, you have a good control on your overall project commit, and yeah, that way, I mean, anyone making a code changes in your team, collaboration will be more easy, right? Multiple team members working concurrently for the same project, and before making a mistake, that kind of a configuration will definitely help them to refrain from spoiling your repository. So that is the overall purpose. So let's head over to the VS Code. So this is my Express app, a simple Node.js application, and I'm just checking a endpoint as to do, and then hard-coded kind of a string I'm just passing as a response. So let's run this one to see if it is really working or not. npm sorry, I'm using node index. Okay, yeah, and it's listening in port 3000, so it's working. So now I'll do a mistake. Forcefully I will put that one below this app listen. So if I save it, what will happen? I'm not using a node mon, sorry, so it is not restarting, so I have to manually restart. So let's do that quickly. Right, yeah, now you see the port value shows as undefined. Of course, the variable doesn't contain when this being this particular line executed, because I have declared now little below. So that's a intentional mistake. Small project you can definitely identify just by going through this code itself, right? But it's a big project, lots of people working, and some people make some mistake here and there, difficult to identify, right? So for that, we'll be using this linter, or ESLint rather. So currently in my package.json, I have only Express installed. So let's install ESLint, npm install ESLint, but I'll be using -D as a dev dependency, because this kind of a syntax checking and problem identification you'll need during development phase, right? Not in the production phase. Makes sense to add it in a dev dependency. So you'll be creating one more chunk section, and it is installed. Now next what? The next is to perform this linting check, we need certain configuration or certain rules. So for that, we have to run one more command called npx and then ESLint. By the way, what is npx? It's a node package executable. And ESLint and --init. What will happen? It will create one configuration file. Currently it is not here in this left side section, so let's run this, and it will ask certain questions which I need to answer. Okay, the first thing is, yes, to check the syntax and find problems, I want to use this linting. JavaScript modules import export, no, I'm using a common JS, because I'm using in my index.js as a require statement, not import export. So let's switch to common JS. Now I don't want to use any sort of a library framework, simple pure JavaScript. No, currently no TypeScript I'm using. And now I want to use the node as to run the code. I don't know whether it will accept or not. I saw it is always taking browser by default. I don't know why, because it doesn't select this one, looks like, right? It's by default browser is highlighted. So anyway, let's see. Yes, it's it takes a browser. I don't know, maybe some setup things I have to check, but it's okay. That's okay, fine. So let's, JavaScript is what the config file to be in, and you see this kind of a ESLint rc.js created. Perfect. Now currently this rule section is empty and I already have certain rules, so let's do a copy pasting. So I have this enter bunch and I have pasted this settings like that. Okay, and it's telling certain indentation 2 spaces but found 4. So because this is kind of a setups indentations we are attaching, the moment we're adding this kind of a config, automatically starts giving this kind of a problem. Okay, anyway, so that's kind of a thing. So let's I don't know, format document will work. Yeah, so now format documents actually saving it. Now one more thing I have to do, we want to do a kind of a setup in the workspace setting. Okay, this VS Code settings will do something. Currently it's empty, so let's do that part as well. So let's paste this one. So this is what I want to enable ESLint by default as a true, and certain other formats during saving automatically it will be formatting. This kind of things I just want to add. And also I have added one more extensions that is called ESLint. Okay, so this one you just need to install it. That is also needed, and you can find the similar kind of a command which I just executed. I have installed locally this particular ESLint. You can install globally for a computer by setting up a -g. That is also fine. All right, so now, so let's file save all, save, I think, yeah. And what happened if I go to index 2, you see now one problem showing. It's showing that the port was used before it was defined, and this is comes under no use before define. It's coming all the way from the ESLint, because this is the setting called no use before define, right? So this is the variable which is causing this kind of ESLint problem. Perfect. So now how to check it? For that you can do one small thing. I would prefer to go for a package, and I can create a start script. I can create something called lint and similar code npx ESLint and then dot, because any files that comes in the same directory where package.json resides, check the ESLint. So save it and then run npm run lint. What will happen? It will make a ESLint check, and if something goes wrong, then it will show those kind of an error. Now our project kind of a ESLint setup is done, and we want to now deploy it to the backend. Now deploy to the Git repository. So for that I have to enable the Git for this folder, right? So for that we'll be doing something called git init. So currently Git is initialized for this project, and if I now just say ls-la, you will see something called .git created. So if you go to cd.git, cd.git, and then you put again ls-la, you will see something called hooks created, cd hooks, and then if you put ls, you see the all kind of a samples automatically available, and one of the sample which is our point of interest is pre-commit sample, because before I commit the changes to my Git repository, I want to perform the same linting check just now I have done, and so that if something goes wrong, then my code will not be pushed to the Git repository. That is the purpose of this overall video. Okay, so now this is my folder where it comes under the same .git and hooks folder, and this is the file I want. The first thing is I don't need to put a .sample, so I want to remove this .sample, just pre-commit and click enter, set yes. Now open this one on the notepad that you want, and I want to open with code. Yes, VS Code is also fine, and this is kind of a sample script that been given, and this is, I don't want to use it. I want to use something different. Now in this particular gist github.com, I'll share the link in the description box, you can check. This is the particular code that I want to use it. So I'll click on raw so that I can copy the code, and now I can paste it whatever I have. All right, so this kind of a this is actually a bash script, a shabang. This is the first one it started, and this is kind of a scripting code that's attached, right? All right, so now what happens? I mean, I want to make a code push to my Git, right? And I want to see if it's working fine or not. So let's save this first of all, and then come out of this folder. Sorry, I think cd. Yeah, I'm in the Git books. Sorry, Git hooks. That's the repository. And now I'm to see the Git status. And yes, a lot of things, files changed. And I have a Git ignore also to ensure that node modules I am not capturing. Yeah, node modules I don't want to capture. The rest of the all files I want to capture, right? All right. So now let's do a git add. Dot. What will happen? It will basically it'll do what? It will just add to my staging. So everything is now added to the staging. Though in the index I still have the problem. I'm ignoring it. So let's push this change. Git commit -m, and let's say called first commit. What will happen, you think? The moment I run it, it will trigger this linting check, because I have put this pre-commit kind of a hook with the kind of a new shells kind of a scripting I have added. So before it goes for a commit, it will call this file and it will perform this kind of a validation. Okay, and if it finds something, it will stop. So let's run this and see what happens. It is showing some problem. It is saying that please install ESLint. Now there is a solution for that. It is not actually working. So for that, if you go back to the same gist, you will find someone responded nicely. So this is the problem they're finding. Always will be kind of install. It's locally, always it will be installed. So there is nothing to install it again. So for that, he is suggesting to write this code. Let's copy it and put it at the top as kind of a declaration. And second, one more thing is doing, and that is this installation validation. He wants to swap with some additional code. So let's copy it and paste it over here. So that's fine. And next is let's save this code and try once more and see what happens next. And now it is saying something else. It is now starting validating the JavaScript, and it is telling a line called ESLint command not found. Do you know the problem? Problem is here. Okay, so because it is to be npx, we know, right? That is a node package executable. So let's save this one and retry and see what happens. Yeah, now it's validating. No more complaining about it is not there. And now it is telling the problems. Awesome. You see the same thing that we just executed manually on this our project. So same validation performed, and it should pass the ESLint, but do not. So hence we cannot do a commit. Try again. That's fantastic. That is what we want. But this is not looking good. Okay, this kind of a console logging not looking good. Let's make a little adjustment and we are done with our changes. So what we'll do, we will put this one with -e. Then what? Again, we'll put -e over here. Here as well, -e. Here as well, -e. Let's put here as well, and a few more. Then we are all set. Perfect. So let's save it and retry. Now there is no more kind of a tab and those kind of things. It's a clean kind of a check. This is what you want, right? Now let's say it may happen certain false positive errors are coming and you want to ignore it, right? Because now it's kind of a hard stop. So every time you have certain ESLint problem, it is actually stopping you to commit, but you actually want to ignore, because you know that whatever the ESLint is suggesting, it's a false positive case and you can ignore it, right? So how to do that? For that, you can do git commit. I think I can just copy this one, but now -- no verify. Okay, so I don't want to verify, but I want to just push the things whatever I have. So let's run it. Voila, it's committed and no pending in the staging. I hope it is interesting, because you guys also working a lot of Cap and Fury projects, and this kind of a problem you may encounter, and this is one of the very easy way to do that. There is one more tricks, that is something called Husky. That Husky can be used to perform a lot of automations. Maybe in some other video I'll talk about. And I already created a few contents on the Git, and that you can see on the screen, like how Git works. If you check this video, you will get immense information how actually Git works behind the scene that I just spoke about. So don't forget to watch this content as well. Okay, thanks for watching so far. Stay tuned and shortly connect to the new video. But if you have not subscribed my channel, that's not fair. Subscribe it so that you don't miss the next content that I'm publishing. Okay, thank you so much. See you soon.